Hello and welcome to another episode of Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational platform. We have conversations about global issues affecting young people, issues on leadership, education, sustainable development, basically anything you can think of that a young person who's determined and resilient like you would be thinking about, information they would be looking for. Thank you so much for watching my most recent vlogs as an international student in South Africa. Monica requested that I do a video on the cost of living in Cape Town, and so I decided that to have a more objective perspective, it would be easier if I do this vlog on the day that I'm actually going to do some shopping. I want to go to the mall and get a couple of things, mostly food items actually, because I don't need to get anything for the house. Basically, it's just food items, and then from there I'll have a better perspective on the cost of things, because I haven't been here for long, so I'm not so sure what costs what exactly. So come along with me. Cynthia here. So I've been in Cape Town for over a month now. So I'm kind of figuring out what prices I need to look at. But generally, I have decided to stop converting South African rand to Kenyan shilling because every time I convert, my heart just my heart beats so much faster. So I really need to stop converting. I remember there was this time I was in a shop and I kept converting from South African rand to US dollars to Kenya shillings and back, and I was going crazy over the prices. So I need to stop doing that. So when I bought the stuff at the Pick and Pay shop, I got a receipt. I'll just quickly read through, but I also hope that you were able to see a couple of the prices from the store that I was displaying. So I bought golden brown sugar that was 53.99 rands. It was about 2 kgs. I also bought 5-in-1 chai latte. I have still not been able to locate tea, like the tea that I would take at home. Tea leaves, you put it in milk and water and it becomes tea. So I bought this instant tea and I only realized it was instant tea when I got to the house, and it's pricey. It's 63 rands. Then I bought 6 packets of milk. I bought it as a box. That's 93.99 rands. Then I had to get mouthwash. That is usually something that I always have to have in my shopping because I have braces. That was 82 rands. Then I'm actually wondering what this is. I bought a soy sauce. That was 45 rands. A sponge, showering sponge, 15 rands. Cotton buds, 14 rands. Face wash, 59 rands. Petroleum jelly, that was Vaseline, 42 rands. Sanitary towels, 2 packets for 63 rands. Face wipes for 54 rands. I still have not used them, so I don't know how they are really, but it's basically when I have makeup, and I haven't done any makeup since I came here. Then kale, that's sukuma wiki if you're Kenyan or from East Africa, 26 rands. Basmati rice, I was told to be very careful about the rice I buy, so I was told to just buy basmati rice. 137 rands for 2 kgs. Maize meal, 43 rands for 2.5 kgs. Pasta sauce, 59 rands. Then chili sauce, 42 rands. Eggs, 6 of them, 25 rands. Lentils, 27 rands. Lentils are kamande in East Africa, in Kenya. Red onions, 36 rands. I don't quite remember how many I bought, but I think I bought 6 of them for 36 rands. Then another packet of rice. This was a smaller pack. I think this was 1 kg for 71 rands. And then I think I got a snack as well, 79 rands. Then ginger, 39 rands. I always just keep that just in case my throat gets itchy because of allergies. And then I had to buy a bag. Please always walk around with a bag because here they don't have very good shopping bags. So they'll put you shopping in a plastic bag, and the plastic bags are not of high quality. Most of the time, once you use them, you just have to dispose them. So just get a quality shopping bag and always have it in your bigger bag so that in case you're at the store, the supermarket, you just put your shopping there. And then I also went to another place just outside of where I stay. I think it was about 40 minutes drive from here. I went to look for a pair of shoes because I was told that's where I could get the exact pair of shoes. And then I discovered, oh wait, this place has very cheap stuff, clothing items at least, because the pair of shoes was about 300 rands. And I don't know whether it's just because I'm a tourist and I've not discovered any thrifting places, but the big malls around me are just so expensive in terms of shoe items, clothes. So that pair of high heels, was 300 rands in a place called Belleville. And then I just discovered a shop that was also selling braids. This is where I actually got these braids. This is Darling 1 million braids. So I decided to just buy them because I wasn't sure if I was going to get them on this other side of Cape Town where I stay. A pack of braids was going for 26 rands. That is quite pricey, and that's why I've said I need to stop converting stuff, because when I started converting to Kenya shillings, I was like, 1 pack is 260 shillings. So I bought 5 of them. And then that actually brings me to the issue of hair and what to do with your hair if you're here in Cape Town. So I don't know about you, but for me, the natural hair movement is amazing. But guys, maintaining my own hair is so challenging. I just find it so challenging. I really admire ladies who can change their natural hairstyles every day. They shampoo and pre-poo and do all those things every week. Guys, I tried it during the pandemic and it was extremely hard. Personally, I feel that it takes a lot of time, like time I could use to do something else. So I have just accepted that I will always rely on a salonist. Now in Kenya, it was much easier because there's always a salonist right outside your doorstep. But then here now I've been trying to figure out what to do with my hair, because now that mode of living that I was using in Kenya is not very sustainable here. But anyway, so I decided to get these braids. I found a salon with ladies from Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi, and they got my braids done for 500 rands. So 500 rands was the whole package. That was undoing because I had another style. So that was undoing, washing, straightening just a bit, and then braiding. So that was 550 rands. So on average, if you just braiding your hair, it would cost you about 500 to 600 rands to do your hair here. Okay, I know the other question you might be asking yourself or somebody else is the cost of school fees. I've gotten that question a couple of times because I know there are a number of students in Africa who want to come maybe and study in South Africa. Probably you've tried to go like to other parts, other continents. Maybe you've not been accepted. Maybe you've been accepted and you've never got a scholarship. We don't have the money. So maybe also considering South Africa as an option, which also has incredibly good schools. The University of Cape Town is the top ranked university in the continent. So I don't know about other institutions and I also don't know about other programs. But if you're looking to study law, specifically Master of Laws, you would on average be required to pay around 120,000 rands a year. And that is minus your housing. So that's minus housing, minus minus everything else. That's just school fees, money that goes into teaching and your dissertation and all. It would be around 120,000 rands. So I'm assuming if you're doing any other program here, it would just be around 120,000. It could be less. It could also be more. So if you're thinking of coming to South Africa, I would really advise that you get a scholarship. If at least you can get a scholarship to pay the school fees, then maybe you can fundraise to get accommodation, because school fees is very high and accommodation is also very high. Right, so I know the other thing you might also want to know is the cost of housing. Guys, nothing prepared me for the cost of housing in Cape Town. That is just my honest perspective. I really was thinking that living in Cape Town would just be the same amount as living in Nairobi, but it is not. Housing in Cape Town is very expensive, and I'm talking about housing for an international student. The cost is quite high. So I've been asking around, asking how much people pay on average, and I have had people saying they pay an average of 2,500 rands up to about 10,000 rands, and that's for students. So what might cause the differences, especially if you hear somebody is paying like 2,000, 3,000 rands, they're probably in a university in a much smaller town outside of Cape Town. So they could be in Port Elizabeth, they could be in Johannesburg, they could also be in Cape Town, but they could be living in the township. So you might find like the cost is much, much lower. However, the standard price I have had people paying is about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 rands. And the truth is, a lot of times, if you're paying 5,000, 6,000 rands, it means you're going to have to share a lot with other people. And this is for private accommodation. So this is housing outside of the school system. So if you're paying 5,000 rands on average, you might find that you need to share a flat or a house with 2, 3 other people. The 5,000 rands will go into your housing, it will go into water, it will go into electricity. It also depends. For some places, you might have to pay an extra amount just so that you can cater for water and Wi-Fi and all other utilities. So it really depends, but just be prepared that a lot of the times you will find yourself sharing. Other people are living in homes where they're only sharing the living room and the kitchen, but then their bedrooms already have bathrooms, so they don't really need to share that. So it depends. It also depends on your luck. I would say if you want to come to South Africa, start looking for housing way in advance, because even by the time I was coming here, people were also struggling to find accommodation. It's an issue. People really struggle to find accommodation, not just accommodation, decent accommodation that's also probably close to school, because you also don't want to live very far away from school, but you also want to live in a good neighborhood. And you also want to at least live in a safe place where you feel okay. Like when you go home, you find there's water, at least there's the basic things you need. As for electricity, just know that there's power rationing in South Africa. So for me, I experience an average of 10 hours blackout a day. It's been incredibly challenging, but that is something you need to know. You might also need to find a way of saving on the cost of energy. So for example, you could take the personal responsibility and ensure you switch off the lights when you're not using them. The other thing is to ensure your geyser is not on the entire day. For those who do not know what a geyser is, it's basically, in simple terms, a water heater. So you only switch it on when you need to take a shower and when you need like to wash dishes and it's extremely cold and you need the warm water. So that's when you turn it on. Once you're done with the water, you turn it off. That will help you to save on the cost of power, because energy is expensive, not just here in South Africa, but across the world. So if you think you're coming to South Africa, just start saving an average of 5,000 rands. Now, 5,000 rands is about 40,000 Kenya shillings. And to be honest, if you're coming from Nairobi, I'm sure you'd get a much bigger house. I think you'd even live in a mansion with that kind of money, but not in Cape Town. Maybe in other towns outside of Cape Town, in other cities, but not in Cape Town. I even feel like Cape Town is just as expensive as New York. For some reason, Cape Town is just as expensive as New York. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But all in all, it's a really beautiful town. It's a nice place to explore. It's very calm. It has lots of activities to do. I hope like you've been following my Cape Town diaries and seeing some of the things I am doing. You can also find me on Instagram at Cynthia Opera _ Nyongesa, or on Twitter at Cynthia _ Opera, and you get to discover some of the other activities that I have been capturing via still image. I also forgot to mention that you can also choose to live in hostels. They also have hostels here. So you don't have to live like in private flat accommodation. You can also live in private hostels. I have checked around and there are a couple. I'm actually going to leave a link so that you also like find places to stay. They're much more expensive than flats. You could be paying an average of 105,000 rands a year. That could be around 9,000 rands every month. So those are also options. The other option is to live in school. You could also pick that, but accommodation in school is not available for everybody, so it's kind of luck. Make sure as you're doing your application, especially like for me, if you're doing your application to the University of Cape Town, make sure you also state there that you want housing in school, and the cost would just be around the same. It would just be around between 5,000 to 9,000 rands, and it also depends on the house you're going to, because you'll go to some accommodations where you have to buy your own utensils. So like I know like at the University of Cape Town, you'd have to buy your own utensils. For me, where I stay, I didn't need to buy any utensils. So I didn't need to buy a microwave. I didn't need to buy a stove. I didn't need to buy a washing machine. I didn't need to buy anything. And it's because like the people who stayed in that house, once they were done, they also left the equipment and went wherever they went. And so that helps you or helps the next person. So if you also go to a house and you buy something, you can leave it there so that the next international student comes in and also has an easier time, just as you did. Anyway, that is it for the cost of living in Cape Town. I will keep sharing more videos on Cape Town Diaries, but please make sure you check out my previous videos. Make sure you check out the video on how to be a Mandela Road Scholar. Make sure you check out the video on the Mandela Road Scholarship experience. Make sure you check my move to Cape Town. I vlogged the entire trip. Make sure you check out how I settled in the city, and also make sure you check out how I'm engaging with other young people and finding a community here through my church, my local church in school. So make sure you watch those videos, and please always remember to tell a friend to tell a friend. Bye.